Hope you're having a great day today. Today, we're really brainstorming something that I hope has not happened to you today. Something that I want to build off of my own experience here and bring you some stats and some figures to really understand what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're working a 9 to 5, a W-2 job, or if you're working as an independent contractor, let's say in the gig economy, as a 1099, regardless of your situation, this may apply to you. Now, if you're just starting your career or if you've been working for years or even decades, you may come across this path and you may be asking yourself, okay, why now? Why are we really tackling this now? Really to power through and accelerate and ultimately to succeed through being fired and termination. Well, like I mentioned, this is going to build off my own experience. I'm going to share with you how many times personally I've been let go, I've been fired from jobs. Again, I'm going to bring some stats so you can understand this. So regardless, hopefully this does not happen to you. But if you have to cross this bridge, I want you to, again, address it and accelerate through it so you can succeed. So if this is the first time that you and I are meeting, I want to welcome you to the training today. Now, again, if we're meeting, my job here is to really just help you make money. My specialty is helping you in the gig economy with the side hustles, with full-time hustles, again, making money and ideally creating a multiple of revenue streams. So if you are new here, I welcome you to join the team, hit that subscribe button, and join almost 40,000 others that are really trying to up their game this year. And for real, we're trying to make some money. We're trying to upgrade our income streams. And I want to get into number one here. We're going to be going over 4 action items to address termination, really regardless of your career position, what kind of niche you're really working in here. And we're going to jump right into it today. And number one, it's understanding the context of being let go. I understand this is not an easy subject to talk about. You know, if you want to share your own story in the comments or in the live chat, feel free to do so. But my goal in this team here on YouTube is really best to set you up with the skills needed in really most any career to make the most money possible. So if we have to cross this bridge of being let go, unfortunately, being fired, being terminated, firstly, I need you to understand the context of what's happening here. And again, I'm going to share with you shortly 3 different scenarios that I was personally let go. So I want to welcome you to the training today. Let me know where you're watching from or if you're watching on the replay. So number one, it is understanding the context of firings here. And I want to show you some stats here that may be a little bit startling. So this from Forbes, every organization makes mistakes. Bad hires, they say. The statistics are frightening. 46% of new hires, employees, and 50% of executives fail within 18 months of being hired or promoted. So what does that mean to you? So I get hired to a job, and again, I'm going to address some very specific roles here shortly, but okay. So I get hired, I'm excited to start, I'm getting my fresh name tag right, I'm getting my stuff ready, I bring the magnets in, I set it up on my desk, right? I put on my, and then I don't make it what? 18 months. Half of you, half of us, me, right? And frankly, you're going to see here shortly, my stories lasted a lot shorter than 18 months, some of them. So here, 46% of newly hired employees don't make it 18 months. So I want you to understand that this happens, okay? It's not just you. If it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. And we're going to understand what I mean by that a little bit deeper here. So if you are let go, look at this, some more stats here. In a survey of 2,000 people that were let go, here are some answers. Again, this is from Forbes. 75% said their manager never met with them to discuss their concerns before firing them. 75% of respondents. 59% said they had not received any performance review from their manager. Of those who did receive a performance review, 87% said there was no indication that they were any risk of being fired. Continuing, 90% reported that they were not put on any sort of performance improvement plan, PIP, before being fired. And of the 10% who were on a PIP, 73% said they did not believe the PIP was a fair assessment of their performance. So in a second here, I'm going to share with you my story of how many times I was let go. And the reason I want to talk to you about this now is, again, I don't want this to happen to you, right? But I mean, statistically, we can see some of the numbers here that this will happen to some of us. This happened to me, and I've been let go from W-2 9-to-5 jobs, office jobs. I've been deactivated from 1099 gig work. So I have a few, decades? Yeah, trying to do the math here, but I at least have, a good amount of years under my belt here, working in different niches. So number one is understanding the context, understanding some of the stats to say, because I mean, can I be real with you for a second here? I know you may be enjoying your free time. You just want to jump on this training here, but I mean, it never goes without some kind of pain. And I'm going to share with you one of my stories here shortly that with a new mindset let me experience minimal pain, but when I was new especially, it hurts. And having that revenue stream gone hurts. In fact, when we saw some of the stats here about being confused with being let go, I want to ask you, have you ever been left with confusion being let go? We said what? 75% of managers, 75% of respondents rather said their manager never met with them to discuss. Have you ever been let go with seemingly no cause, right? You can be left with a lot of confusion. So let me share with you, if I can, and I appreciate you joining here from the UK, Kentucky, all over Pennsylvania. I appreciate you joining here today on the training today. Hope you're having a great day so far. So how many times have I been let go? I'm coming to you here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Just recently, I lived in beautiful San Diego, California. Now, it's beautiful here in Pittsburgh. Hope you have some good weather where you're at here. But I was in San Diego for 3 years, and I'm back here in Pittsburgh. So this has happened across a few different areas. But to answer that question, 3 times. 3 times, and I would like to think I'm not that old. 3 times I've been let go in different degrees here. Let me explain. So firstly, we're understanding the context of what's going on here with being fired. Retail. My first job out of college was retail. I mean, I did retail. I worked for Walmart in between semesters at Penn State. And my first job, obviously that's not me, right? Hang with me though. But I worked as an assistant manager in this retail store, in a Walmart store. And how long did I last there? It was super far away. It was in the middle of nowhere in central Pennsylvania here. And, I'm moving everything from Pittsburgh, right? I lasted, I think it was maybe 4 months. Moving into an apartment, starting something new here. Okay, let's go. First job out of college, 4 months. I was let go. And if I'm honest with you, and we're going to talk about this today, and again, I'm going to be frank with you. This is part of, I appreciate you being a part of the team here, but, I just wasn't a good fit. And it showed from head to toe, really, not having the passion. And if you don't have the passion, I mean, have you ever worked a job that wasn't a good fit? It kind of is all over your face, right? You come in, you're like, I don't want to be here. I'm not passionate about this. And on top of that, the money was meh. The money was okay. It was pretty good. It was decent for a new grad, okay? But there was no passion behind it. And I was out of there quickly. And it made sense. Number 2, so after the retail job, I'm like, all right, came back to Pittsburgh, got a customer service job. And that's what my undergrad was in. It was communications. Well, communications, not customer service. And I worked in that job for about 6 years. But I wanted to do more. I wanted to have charge my income. I wanted to really exponentially grow my income. So I then, again, not me, hang with me. Again, I don't know what's with me in moving, but I packed everything in a 2010 silver Dodge Caliber. I packed up as much as I could, and I drove across the entire country 4 days, 9 hours a day in that Caliber to start a new sales job in San Diego, California. And I love San Diego. I still do. But this time it was different. So I work at a startup, and I like what they're doing, They're doing something like kind of the health space. And I liked that. I was passionate about it. So the passion was there. I had all the motivation of trying to take charge of my own income. So I was ready to go. But about a year and a half after starting that job, that company went under. And I mean, you may be thinking, okay, Mike, that doesn't really count. You weren't really fired. I'll tell you this, fair enough, but I'll tell you this, that if you looked at my actual performance, wasn't that great. But I was subsequently let go because that company went under. And frankly, left me in a very deep spot with thousands of dollars in back pay owed that just couldn't be paid out. So from there, scrambling, trying to pay a very expensive rent in San Diego, why not, right? I'm here for sales. Let's go for sales. Sales job number 2 after that one. It was a company that I had previously applied for, trying to get out to San Diego. It was a more established company. I think they were, 6 or 8 years in the making, basically. Had a big building established, right? Nice big building, tons of, whatever, right? A setup, right? The whole deal. So I joined this sales team in San Diego, this new sales team, and can I tell you, I'm ready to make some real money. Can I tell you that there were some high performers there that were earning, supposedly, but I guarantee they were here. I'm not trying to say that they weren't, but you had high performers that were earning 5 figures, $10,000 a month. And I would definitely be there. I thought I was pretty qualified. I had worked for years in customer service. I had shadowed the sales team there because I still had interest at the time back in Pittsburgh. I had read all the books, all the classics, entrepreneurial books, self-development books, and I was ready to go. So at this job, I lasted about 6 months. I lasted about 6 months at this second sales job, and I sold 1 unit in 6 months. Granted, about 2 or 3 months of that was training, right? But still, 3 months of 1 sale, calling and calling every day, 1 sale. Yeah, and that's not going to cut it. And there's reasons for that. I thought it was something that I really wanted to do, and it kind of was, but I just couldn't get behind selling something that I wasn't deeply involved in. It was in the tech space. I had a passion for it, but I wasn't deeply involved in it. So in my conscious, I couldn't sell a product that I didn't really know the ins and out of, even though I tried to research, etc. Third time, let go after 6 months. So what happens then? Transitioning to you. So there's my story. Let go, technically 2 times, whatever, 3 times we'll say, in a pretty short time span. Well, there was that time span of 6 years in customer service, but you get the point there. Okay, well, number 1, we're understanding the context of firings. I told you, number 1, if you're not a good fit, it's not going to work. If you're not passionate about it, eventually it's not going to work. And we saw some actual stats that about 50% of new hires don't make it 18 months. Okay. So now let's start moving towards action. And to do that, we need to understand ourselves. You need to understand yourself. So you should never devalue your skill set. I knew what I was good at. I was good at what? Communication. I did it in my undergrad. I did it for 6 years in customer service, talking on the phone for 100, 120, 150 calls a day. I did it dialing for basically the same amount of calls, a little bit less, in the sales jobs, talking, right? So I knew what I was good at. So your action item here for number 2, if you get let go, never devalue your skill sets. You're worth what you're worth even after you're let go. I understand you get down, you get discouraged. I understand that. We're humans. You're allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do that. I don't want you to fall in the pit of, dude, I just got let go like twice in 10 months or whatever it was. Okay, well, have you tried to shoehorn yourself somewhere that's not a good fit, that you're not passionate about, and that's not within your skill sets? Your skill sets haven't changed. Actually, you've gained skills because you've gone through adversity. You're learning, you're growing, you're accelerating through it. You should be. This is what I call the power through season. In a video, I talk about how I essentially go from broke to $10,000 a month. We just hit it again, another month here with my business, and I teach you the mindset and the steps that allowed me to do that. Go from literally negative dollars in my bank account to now a business that generates 5 figures a month. So I'm carrying that over in this training today. It is the power through season. So tip number 2 here, we're not devaluing your skill sets. So here's an activity for you. Here's an action item for you. Write down all of your skills. I'm not doing that. Okay, well, do you want to actually grow, or do you just want to fall on the wayside of everyone else? Write down your skill sets. What are you most proficient in? What are you the best at? Can you teach any of these? So I write it down. I order it by proficiency, and then ask yourself, can you teach any of these? So knowing that, I want you to look at this. So here's some of the most in-demand skill sets, jobs in 2021 with a salary threshold of $60,000 a year. You can go higher. I filtered it by 60,000 because, hey, I think it's a good barometer. I mean, we can go 6 figures, and yeah, if you have a skill set for it, go for it, right? We're all different. But what you're looking at is the most in-demand skill sets. Do you have anything you can teach? How deep do you go? And maybe you're looking at this and there's some qualities that are in demand that you can get hired for right now, or you can start your own business for. So now that we understand, okay, I understand my skill sets. I understand that these things happen. I'm not going to dwell. I'm not going to fall into average. I'm going to power through that power through season. I'm going to look at my skills. I'm going to understand that my skills have not value. I'm and you're a high value individual. Doesn't matter if you're let go. Like I mentioned before, maybe you just weren't a good fit. So tip number 3, can we monetize any of these skills or any of this knowledge? So nextly, again, can we monetize? Can we start to amplify your monetization? Now we're moving into action items. Okay, I was let go. All right, what am I going to do about it? I understood it. I'm going to power through it. And now our next tip is an action item for you. So we're going to start to amplify your monetization. Let's take a sip of Topo Chico there. I hope you guys are doing great today. Definitely drop a like in this training if you're getting value. And I do want to let you know that, there we go. Today is the last day to save 20% on mastering delivery. If you're looking at a side hustle in the food delivery space, that is your A to Z course to master those food delivery platforms. That does expire today. Linked down below in the description. Okay, so I'm excited to talk about this because these are the action items here. So starting or amplifying your monetization. Here's what we're going to look at. So we've already mapped out your skill set. Can you make your own money? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Do you have to work the W-2? Do you have to work for someone else? That's cool, that's fine. But can you make your own money elsewhere? Can it be a side hustle, a passive income stream? How to start and succeed on YouTube. In fact, there's a brand new channel that I am piloting here shortly. It is already up and available for you to subscribe to. It is called Your Driver Mike Creates, where I teach you how to start, grow, and monetize, and ideally dominate here on YouTube. So if you want to monetize your passion and your expertise, subscribe right now so you can be the first to see that content. Again, that is Your Driver Mike Creates. I invite you to really be on the ground floor of that brand new channel. We can see here best interview negotiation skills for a higher salary. It's all about action items. It's all about what can I do to actually make money for myself. So let's talk about side hustles. So I'm asking you here, this tip is, can you start, or if you've already started, can you amplify your own monetization? Let's be real here, all right? Let's just be straight up real here today on this training today is, if I'm working a W-2 for $50,000 a year, how much am I gonna make in that year? Let me ask you. Write it in the live chat, or you can just think to yourself or write it in the comment section. If I'm working a W-2 and I'm earning $50,000 a year, how much am I making in that year? No, it's not a trick question. It's a silly question. It's $50,000 a year, right? It's stagnant, it's concrete, and it's never gonna change. So your spending and expenses better fit in that window of 50K, because maybe I wanna spend a little bit more. I wanna get that thing, right? Or maybe I have some expenses and I got to pay them off. And ideally, I like to pay them off faster. Yet you really can't. Something's got to give. I mean, okay, if you pay off this, then you're going to have to sacrifice something else. I've heard you don't have a spending problem. You got a money problem. If you had an extra 20K, 30K, would you still be worried about spending whatever, 500 on that thing? So my goal for you this year is to reach that number that you want to reach. If it's 50, if it's 80, 100, whatever it is, that's why you're here on this team. That's why you've subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, I invite you to subscribe right now, because I'm trying to hit big numbers. I'm trying to hit minimum of 5 figures a month. I'll be transparent with you. If you can be transparent with me, I'm trying to hit minimum 5 figures a month. So if you're stuck at 50K a year, you get it, right? Let's move on. So check out this figure here. So we're talking about, okay, how can I make that money, man? I mean, how can I actually monetize, right? Well, here's some more stats for you. 2021 data, 34% of Americans currently have a side hustle, which means, is it proven and profitable? Are other people doing it? Yes. 34% of Americans have a side hustle. Now, if I'm honest with you, another reason why you want to subscribe to this channel or be a team member here, and thank you if you're already a team member, is, okay, 34% of Americans have a side hustle. I would bet that, what, 65 to 70% of those doing it aren't optimizing that side hustle, if I could be so bold. Okay, this training is a little bit bold. We're talking about being fired, right? I see it in the numbers. I see it in self-reported data that, hey man, I'm making like $13, $14 an hour driving for Uber Eats and DoorDash. Well, after expenses, after miles, man, you're just running your vehicle into the ground, man. It's not worth it, dude. No, it's because you're not doing it right. And you're making $110 a mile, okay? Again, that's what I help you with here. So if 34% of Americans have a side, I bet not all of them are optimizing. 61 million plan to start a side hustle this year. 31% started their side hustle last year. Have you started your side hustle last year? I know with everything going on, it's been a challenging 2020. It was, I should say, a challenging 2020. Doesn't have to be. When it comes to money, I know everything else going on, right? But with money, let's not make it a challenging 2021. So I like to show this. I've shown this before. This is my starter journey here on YouTube. Hey, can I just be real here with you? I have no interest in starting on YouTube, man. Great, you're doing this YouTube thing. I don't care. No, that's not what I'm talking about here. The reason I'm showing you this is because this is my business. So whatever your business is, remember we talked about monetizing your skill set if possible, or simply just starting a side hustle. You can jump on any of those platforms. Affiliate income, the gig economy, right? Maybe even real estate, some kind of side hustle. So I'm translating, I'm building this story from my journey, but this is still going to apply to you. So When I started in January of 2017, I was making nothing. I was making pennies. Not even enough for YouTube to pay me. Cents on the day, dollars per the month, nothing. $78 on Wednesday, what is it? December 20th was my highest earning day in 15 months. This samples from approximately 15 months. And I thought that was the best thing ever. I thought 78 bucks in a day. If I can just keep that up, I'm gonna be making pretty good money on YouTube, right? $78, because you can see all these tick marks from everything else that my business had done at the time. Look at that spike. Now I'm doing much more than $78 a day because of that power through season, because of research, besting my skill sets that we talked about earlier, grinding, because yeah, we'll be real here. I mean, obviously there's some grinding involved here. The goal here is, do you want to turn a side hustle into potential full-time hustle? And if you don't want to, that's fine. You know, if you're going to do the 9 to 5, you know, for your career, that's perfectly cool. That's fine. But if you're looking at making more money and you start a side hustle, right, then you probably want to max out that side hustle. This is what I'm talking about. Or there is a segment of you that have this side hustle and, you know, dude, I want to blow up that side hustle. If I can blow up this side hustle and make it a full-time income, I want to do it. And you can. And again, I invite you, if you want to do it on YouTube, subscribe to Your Driver Might Create. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. Appreciate you watching the training today, everyone. Victor, Blade, David, Kyle, I see you guys in the training today. And if you do want to go deeper here on the team, click that join button down below. If you can't see that, you're probably on mobile, make sure to go over to a laptop or a computer and you click that. You get access to exclusive content, really our inner circle here, really real, raw, unfiltered videos, as well as custom emotes and badges that you won't see anywhere else across the internet, and more ways to stand out. Definitely click that join button like many others in the community have already done. I appreciate you regardless, definitely not mandatory. So lastly here, let's power through this here. So taking controls of your next steps. So to summarize, we have identified the stats behind firings. We have understood that our skill sets are still our skill set. We're still good at what we're good at. And then moving into action items, can I monetize any of that? Can I start a side hustle? Can I amplify any current monetization strategies? And then lastly, let's take control of these finishing and next steps here. So check this out. I think the lack of control is a big thing that may hold you and I back. Another sip of Topo Chico there. And yeah, I mean, George mentions, do you invest in the stock market? I also have a portfolio in stocks. There's no one way to do this, folks. Diversify, have as many actually successful revenue streams as possible. Okay, so taking control. Well, to take control, let's understand what happens when you don't take control. 50% of Americans say they've done a job interview that they felt completely unprepared for. 38% say they've applied to a job without reading the description. 57% said they've had a job interview go poorly. I had a job interview go poorly. Again, I'm just going to be transparent with you because I appreciate you being here. Interviewing for a different inside sales job at the time, I was trying to explain the turmoil of that company that was going under, that quite literally didn't pay their employees at one point over several pay periods. It was bad, I know. So I couldn't communicate it enough to the hiring managers and ended up, in my opinion, looking like I was potentially trying to place blame on the company for how they were treating, in this case, myself. When actuality, it was kind of vice versa. It was the company and the leadership behind the company that was treating their employees poorly by, I mean, again, literally not paying them, and false promises, we should say. But again, having my power through season, my point is, let's grab control, because you can see what happens when you don't grab control. So your next steps, if you've been let go, okay, let's land the plane on this point here. If you've been let go, if you've been in this scenario, to leave this final point here, take control of your next steps. Don't be like this on these stats here. Don't have the shotgun approach to applications. When I've applied to jobs with a resume, I am laser focused on, okay, this is a good fit. Not only am I qualified, or ideally overqualified, that this is a company that I want to work for. I've looked up comps as far as salaries, etc., because I don't want to waste my time even applying to jobs that I don't want to do, that don't pay enough, that I'm not qualified for. Because, I mean, even if you have a fast application, what if you get a call and it's a company you don't want to work for? Guess what? You're going to be like slide 1 that showed 50% of employees didn't make it past 18 months, and there you are in that vicious cycle. I don't want that for you. I want you to take control, do the research, be smart with your next steps. And if you're looking at starting a side hustle that you want to maximize or maybe turn into a full-time hustle, then do the research on side hustles. Actually look at, okay, this is how affiliate income works. This is how I start a YouTube channel. This is how I start an Etsy store. This is how I dominate in the gig economy, which again is more of what we talk about here. So again, if you got value in this training today, definitely drop a like. And I'm also going to link another video right here, as well as another video that's recommended for you. Definitely drop a like if you got value in the training today. Appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next one.